Welcome to another deep dive. This time we're tackling one of Marvel's most fascinating characters, Jean Grey.
Buckle up because her story's a roller coaster.
From shy telepath to cosmic phoenix force, we're gonna cover it all. Her relationships and all those crazy twists and turns that make
Just
her
so iconic.
is like a masterclass in power and tragedy.
Yeah.
And it all starts with this traumatic event that unlocks her abilities.
Right from the beginning.
Yeah. So picture this. You're 10 years old
10 years old.
and you witness your best friend just die
Oh, gosh.
tragically. Annie Richardson. This is what awakens Jean's telepathic powers.
That is intense. So young, too. It makes you think, would she have even discovered her powers without that?
That's a really good question. It's definitely possible they would have emerged eventually,
Yeah.
maybe during some stressful or emotional situation. But the intensity of this, childhood experience, definitely shaped her understanding and control, or lack thereof, of her telepathy. It's a reminder that these extraordinary abilities often come with a hefty emotional price.
Yeah, a huge one.
It's no surprise that she really struggled to cope.
Yeah.
Led to isolation, fear. But thankfully, Professor X,
Of course.
founder of the X-Men, recognized her potential
Yeah.
and the danger she was in,
Yeah.
and became her mentor, guiding her and helping her understand and master those telepathic abilities.
Professor X saw in Jean a young mutant with so much power,
Yeah.
but also with vulnerability. That
Yeah.
needed nurturing, and he gave her that safe space to learn and grow, setting her on this path to becoming one of the most formidable telepaths in the Marvel Universe.
That brings us to the X-Men.
Right.
This team of mutant heroes fighting for a world that fears and hates them.
Yeah.
Jean, under the codename Marvel Girl,
Uh-huh.
becomes the final member of the original team,
I know.
making history. She was the only woman on the original team,
Yeah.
paving the way for so many female
Yeah.
superheroes to come.
It's amazing to think about her impact
Yeah.
on comics. And don't forget the dynamic she brought to the team. Her relationships with Cyclops, Wolverine, and the others added layers of complexity and drama that really resonated with readers.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of relationships, we can't ignore the infamous love triangle
Oh, yeah.
between Jean, Cyclops, and Wolverine.
Classic.
It's that classic tale of two men vying for the affection of a powerful and compassionate woman.
Right.
A dynamic that fueled countless storylines and kept fans on the edge of their seats.
Definitely. It added this layer of very human drama
Yeah.
to their extraordinary lives. Jean's connection with Cyclops, it was deep, rooted in shared experiences. But Wolverine's intensity and just undeniable attraction to Jean created this constant tension.
Oh, yeah.
There was a testament to Jean's strength and resilience, that she navigated those emotions
So
while
good.
battling supervillains and saving the world.
Okay, so let's talk about the event that changed everything.
Okay.
Jean's encounter with the Phoenix Force.
Oh, yeah.
Picture this. A space mission with the Fantastic Four goes wrong. And Jean finds herself face to face with this cosmic entity of unimaginable power.
It's like destiny just showed up, but with a cosmic twist.
It's a cosmic twist.
The Phoenix Force, drawn to Jean's immense potential, connects with her on a subconscious level. And it's this moment that foreshadows their future bond, but also all those epic and often tragic events that are about to happen.
And that leads us to one of the most iconic moments in X-Men history.
Oh, yeah.
The apparent death of Jean Grey during a space shuttle crash.
Yeah.
I remember reading that issue and being like, no way.
Nah.
He survived that.
Yeah.
It was such a dramatic and emotional moment.
Yeah. But as we know with Jean Grey, death is rarely the end.
Never the end.
The Phoenix Force senses Jean's impending demise, intervenes, absorbs her consciousness, and takes her place,
Whoa.
saving the X-Men and returning to Earth in Jean's form.
Wait, so Cyclops and the rest of the X-Men had no idea they were interacting with a cosmic entity disguised as their teammate?
It's like the ultimate mistaken identity, but with cosmic level stakes.
That's crazy.
It's a brilliant twist that adds all this dramatic irony. On the surface, everything seems okay. The X-Men are back and Jean is seemingly fine. But underneath it, all this cosmic force is at play.
Oh my God.
One that will soon unleash its full power upon the world.
And that is where things get really interesting. We're talking about the transformation from Phoenix to Dark Phoenix, saga that redefined power and tragedy in the Marvel Universe. But before we dive into that,
Yeah.
I think it's time for a quick recap of Jean's journey so far.
Okay. So from a traumatized young girl who discovers her telepathic abilities to becoming a founding member of the X-Men, Jean Grey's early years were filled with challenges, triumphs, and complex relationships that shaped her destiny.
And then comes the game changer, the Phoenix Force, a cosmic entity drawn to her immense power. It merges with Jean, setting the stage for one of the most epic and tragic sagas in comic book history. We'll be right back to unpack the rise and fall of the Dark Phoenix and the lasting impact it has on Jean Grey's life and legacy. Don't go anywhere.
So before the break, we were talking about Jean's journey, from that traumatized young girl to becoming a founding member of the X-Men, and then, of course, her encounter with the Phoenix Force.
Yeah, that encounter, totally changed everything.
It launched her onto a whole new level of power and complexity.
And we're talking about a cosmic entity merging with an already super powerful mutant. It's what could possibly go wrong?
Right. Well, a lot can go wrong when you mix immense power with human vulnerability.
Oh, yeah.
The Phoenix Force, while initially good, becomes susceptible to corruption, leading to the rise of the Dark Phoenix.
It's like a classic tale of power corrupting, but on a cosmic scale.
Huge scale.
So how does this happen? What pushes the Phoenix over the edge?
It's a few things. You've got Mastermind, a powerful mutant illusionist, and the Hellfire Club, this secretive organization with their own agenda. They target Jean, exploiting her vulnerabilities and manipulating the Phoenix Force for their own gain.
So they basically prey on her insecurities and fears and twist the Phoenix's power into something dark and destructive.
Exactly.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Their manipulations, combined with the Phoenix's growing hunger for power, lead to all these reckless and destructive acts. And the culmination of this is the infamous Dark Phoenix saga, where Jean, consumed by the Phoenix's dark power, commits an act of unimaginable destruction.
The consumption of a star, wiping out billions of lives. It's a moment that really sent shockwaves through the Marvel Universe and cemented the Dark Phoenix as one of the most terrifying villains.
It's a stark reminder of the potential consequences of unchecked power. Even with good intentions, the line between hero and villain can be so thin.
It makes you think about the responsibility that comes with that kind of power.
Yeah.
And the struggles that Jean must have faced.
Oh, absolutely. Her inner turmoil. It's all over the Dark Phoenix saga. On one hand, she's compassionate and selfless, this hero, founding member of the X-Men.
Right.
On the other hand, she's consumed by this cosmic force that's pushing her towards destruction.
So how does it end? Does Jean break free from the Phoenix's grip, or is she destined to become a cosmic destroyer?
It's heartbreaking. Realizing the consequences of her actions, Jean makes this incredibly difficult decision. She chooses to sacrifice herself, regaining control just long enough to end the threat of the Dark Phoenix. It's a moment of both tragedy and redemption, really solidifying her place as a legend.
But as we know, death is rarely the end for Jean Grey. Her consciousness survives within the White Hot Room.
Oh, yeah.
This realm tied to the Phoenix Fort, waiting to return.
Right.
So while Jean's physical form is gone, the impact of the Dark Phoenix saga continues. It raises all these questions about power and responsibility.
Totally.
The struggle between our darker impulses and our desire for good.
It also highlights the importance of support systems and the dangers of isolation. If Jean had more support during that time with the Phoenix Force, maybe things would have been different. It's like even the most powerful individuals need people they can trust and who understand them.
It's a reminder that even with extraordinary abilities, we're all susceptible to manipulation and temptation.
Definitely.
And the allure of power.
But it also shows that even in the darkest moments, we have the capacity for redemption.
Okay, so we've established that death isn't always the end for Jean Grey.
Yeah.
So what happens next? How does she return from the White Hot Room?
Well, her return is anything but straightforward. It's this complex web of events.
Oh boy.
A power swap with Psylocke, the emergence of a clone made by Mr. Sinister, and the Phoenix Force constantly trying to reclaim its host.
That's a lot.
And we haven't even touched on the Phoenix Endsong saga, where the Phoenix Force tries to reunite with Jean, leading to this cosmic battle that could shatter reality.
Wow. Okay, so Jean's story is full of twists and turns and cosmic level drama. But let's not forget that she's a powerhouse all on her own. We've talked about the Phoenix Force, but what about Jean's inherent abilities? What makes her so formidable even without the cosmic entity?
That's what we're going to get into next. We'll explore the full extent of Jean Grey's telepathic and telekinetic abilities and what makes her one of the most powerful mutants in the Marvel Universe.
So we're back and ready to dive into Jean Grey's powers. beyond the Phoenix Force.
Yes, because she is powerful even without it.
Oh yeah. Without that cosmic boost, what can she do?
Well, for starters, she's considered an Omega-level mutant even without the Phoenix.
Okay.
That puts her in the same league as Professor X,
Wow.
Magneto, some of the most powerful mutants around.
So we're talking reality warping power,
Yeah,
even without tapping into the Phoenix Force.
pretty much.
That's amazing.
Her telepathy is off the charts. Mind reading, thought projection, mental manipulation. She can even block Professor X.
Wow. Professor X is like
Why no?
the telepath. So that's
The gold standard.
yeah.
And Jean can go toe-to-toe with him mentally. But there's more.
Uh-huh.
She can create illusions, manipulate memories, even control other people's actions.
So she's like a psychic weapon.
Basically.
Yeah.
But her powers are more than just defense. She can use her telepathy for healing emotional trauma, calming minds. She can even connect with others on this deep, empathetic level.
So she's a powerful warrior and a compassionate healer. Amazing.
All right.
What about telekinesis?
Oh, yeah. Equally impressive. She can move objects with her mind, fly, create force fields, even manipulate matter on a subatomic level.
Subatomic level. So like turn lead into gold.
Theoretically, yeah.
Yeah.
She could transmute elements, create stuff out of pure energy. It's all possible.
It's mind-boggling. The scope of her powers. No wonder the Phoenix Force was drawn to her. But with all that power
Yeah.
comes a lot of responsibility.
Of course. Her powers have saved so many lives, but they've also caused destruction, especially when the Phoenix Force is involved. It's this constant battle for Jean to balance her abilities with her compassion and sense of responsibility.
It's that duality that makes her so interesting. She's not just powerful, she's complex, like constantly walking this tightrope between hero and potential destroyer.
Right. And that struggle is amplified by everything that happens in her life. The power swap with Psylocke, the Phoenix Endsong saga. These events push her to her limits. She has to confront the darkest parts of herself.
It's like a journey of self-discovery,
Yeah.
learning, evolving, making those tough choices that shape who she is.
Absolutely.
What's the big takeaway here? What can we learn from Jean Grey's journey?
I think it's about the potential and the danger of power. It's about self-awareness, responsibility, and facing your own darkness. Jean's story is about the resilience of the human spirit and hope, even in the face of impossible challenges.
It's a story that keeps resonating with fans. Jean Grey is an icon, a symbol of power, tragedy, and the struggle between our humanity and our potential for greatness. And on that note, we want to hear from you. What are your favorite Jean Grey moments? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And until next time, keep diving deep into the fascinating world of comics.